I make no secret of the fact I'm trying to get better at the game. How am I attempting to do that? Well, for one day, I trained like the one and only Peterbot. Yes, I put in the work, I put in the hours like old Peterbot did last season, and we're going to see how well it goes for me. I'm going to be running through everything I did today, and it'll also teach you a bit about the best things to do in terms of practice. If you want to get pro as fast as possible though, do what I did, get these solo superstars from Destiny Jesus. You can see it on the screen right here. It comes with over 30 hours of coaching a month from the top coaches such as BloodX, Sven, and even Destiny Jesus himself, followed by coaching from the top pros in the world such as Muzz, Reet, and even players like Bolts and Cease, who have been placing for a while now. All the purchases help support me as well, so you'll be doing me a massive solid. Let's get straight into the video. I started off what would be a very long day by picking some music. I attempted to start free building today, so picking music is a great way to relax while free building and also spend a little more time than you thought you would, just because you're enjoying the music you put on. Always listen to that music while free building. You can even keep it on during your other activities, although I would not recommend it. It can distract you a little bit. Free building though, perfectly fine. Most days I do start my day with free building because it helps me warm up and get my fingers ready to play the game. My free builds were not the greatest today, however, they don't need to be. The purpose of the free builds is to warm up, and occasionally I might spend some time later in the day working more on free builds because I do need to improve my building overall, but I ended up just doing 15 minutes or so today. From that point onwards, at about 6:20 AM, I headed onto some 1v1s. They were just public 1v1s, and therefore they're not the greatest players. However, I said this before, 1v1s are pretty much free building with a goal in mind, with a player in mind. So they're often pretty good practice just when you've just got on. I didn't do too much free building today, so it's great that I got some 1v1s in. And to be fair, this guy had 18 PR, he wasn't the worst player in the world, so I actually had to try to beat him. That being said, I was not on my best form today, and he definitely scooped up a couple rounds against me. The 1v1s after that were a mix of good and bad. I was playing against a very good player in the next round, and I actually got rolled a couple times. But what I think about personally when I get rolled in 1v1 is that you want to stay in it as long as they will 1v1 you, just because you'll eventually end up killing them and that'll feel good. And as well as this, every single pro probably went through a time where they were getting beaten by players a lot better than them, and they probably stayed in their rounds, and they probably tried to learn from the people who are better. I also tried to break a really bad habit I have of free building while I do my 1v1s. I free build and then I get hit by 100 and then I'm just lost the fight by that point. I've been trying to like completely change the way I play and play for the win, not play for the clip. And it is a hard thing to do, however, it's going to pay off in the long run, I think. It makes me look slightly less flashy now, but in the long run, I'm going to look so much better and win so many more fights. Definitely try and interpret your own weaknesses in your own gameplay, and then during these long sessions against the better players, see if you can interpret them and completely fix them, hopefully. I'd eventually been 1v1ing for about 2 hours, and I'd placed about 15 to 20 opponents. It's great to face as many people as possible because there's so many different fighting styles out there. Then I moved on once I was warmed up to scrims. I know for a fact that last season when Peterbot was only subscribed, he played pretty much every single scrim session last season to get the absolute best possible practice. So I knew if I wanted to become the best and train just like Peterbot, scrims was something I needed to incorporate. I've always been historically bad at getting endgame in scrims, so today I had to try at least make one endgame. I know that doesn't sound too hard, but I always end up scuffed in some type of way before endgame. So that's definitely something I need to work on. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this was the script. Yes, I came 8th because of my inability to catch myself on the floor. However, not too bad. That was not a terrible scrim game. Second game, however, I cannot say the same for. Terrible scrim game. 15 minutes, just wasted down the drain. Whoopsie daisy. We move on though. The 2 refreshes I got in that scrim were super good, and I'm super happy with the way I pushed them and the way I fought them and the way I ended the fight very, very quickly. I fought with confidence and I fought with precision. Confidence being something I've been struggling on the keyboard. I then carry on my grind by heading back into 1v1s because Liam has just got online, one of my best friends, and I expect to lose against Liam, I can't lie. He has a lot of PR and he is an extremely good player. Actually, let me correct myself. I don't expect to lose, I think I might lose, which is obviously not great for my confidence, but at the same time Liam is a better player, so 1v1 wanting better players is always going to be good for your skill. And besides, I don't lose all the time, just most of the time. We probably 1v1 for about half an hour, which is about normal. We sometimes go even further, 1v1ing for about an hour, but it's important to not 1v1 the same person for too long. That's why I 1v1 so many different people earlier in creative, due to the fact there's so many different types of fighting that you guys need to just be ready for anything. If you 1v1 the same person then all the time, no matter how good they are, you're always going to be caught off guard by every single other player. After my 1v1, I attempted to play one more scrim, but once again did not look the greatest. I honestly do need to work on my getting to endgame skills. They're pretty terrible. I always end up in a bad side of zone and getting fought, which is obviously not ideal. But we know that is something we definitely need to improve on. After all the scrims are finished for the day, well, the scrims I actually wanted to play, we moved on to the Ranked Cup. It started about 20 minutes earlier, so we got some easy games in at the start. The Ranked Cup we did today, we did not perform the best in. It was a duo Ranked Cup, and I was playing Phil the entire time just for practicing 2v1 purposes. A couple of the fights I was pretty happy with. Having me switch to keyboard competitively this season, it's still a little bit dodgy fighting. I'm pretty proud of the way I'm coming along. I'm trying to exercise the notion that I should be fighting smarter rather than fighting mechanically. I'd much rather run all of our fights, as I mentioned earlier, in a 1v1s with barely any mechanics than win them all only just with the greatest mechanics of all time. Taking less damage will always be more worth it in my opinion. So I played this cup for about 3 hours and ended up coming and not too high because I was just W keying and jumping in most people's boxes. And plus your teammates in these cups will always be a pure terribleness no matter what you play. Even if you're top 1, you're going to get paired up with a drone. But I'm going to keep the clips playing while I talk about afterwards. Afterwards I went to dinner and then I came back and played some Reload before bed. By the time that was done, I hopped on the call with Destiny Jesus in the Solo Superstars Masterclass, the one I mentioned at the start of the video. He hosts pretty much every single night and goes through all the pros games, and today we actually had a great session with me learning a lot of new things about the meta. If you want to get signed up for that course yourself and get taught by all the top pros and coaches, make sure you check out the link in description and watch this video on the screen because it is an absolute banger. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a beautiful day.